There is one stretch that I consistently give my patients with lumbar spinal stenosis when they're trying to improve their walking. This stretch doesn't require you to get on the ground. It immediately improves your pain, and it can immediately improve the distance you can walk, which are all things that are very important. As you know, with spinal stenosis, walking can be brutal. Even just the first few steps can bring on back pain, leg pain, heaviness in the legs, or even numbness and tingling. What's great about this stretch is that you can immediately improve your walking distance and your pain. And what's even better about this stretch is that you can do it right before you walk and even during your walk. And so as a physical therapist, I often lean into this exercise and stretch to help people immediately improve their walking ability. But there are some caveats, so I'm going to go over exactly what you should be doing and what you should be feeling, what you should not be feeling in some areas that people make some mistakes, and then also a way to level it up, to nudge you in the direction that much more towards improvement and feeling better with walking. So if you have difficulty with walking, you have back pain and leg pain when you start walking, this video is going to be for you. Now, before I waste any more time, let's get into the stretch. You're going to need a chair with a back because you're going to want to hold on to something. And so let's get to it and have some fun. So here's the problem with walking, is that before we get to this stretch, we have to understand why walking is so uncomfortable. So walking is uncomfortable because walking is an extension exercise. So imagine this was you, you're standing up tall and you're walking, and your legs are coming behind you, and walking is an extension of the back. Well, with stenosis, the definition of it is that you're losing space in your spine and nerves. And so walking closes down onto the nerves, so it kind of suffocates them a little bit. And plus, you probably have some arthritis in your back, which is causing some more discomfort with extension. So you may notice not only walking being uncomfortable, but laying on your belly can be uncomfortable as well. So with walking, you're losing some blood flow to the nerves, and you're irritating the joints at the exact same time. But the problem is we all need to walk. Walking is such essential activity to not only health and longevity, but you need to be able to do it when you have stenosis. And so you've probably heard terms such as neurogenic claudication, which means that when the nerve is being closed down on from an extension exercise, it's going to send pain in your back and legs. Well, with this exercise, we're doing the exact opposite. So we're trying to open up the spine and improve walking at the exact same time. And with this exercise, you can do that, but we're going to be going over the nuances to make sure you're not going to be having any closing down of the spine as we're going. And so walking can be uncomfortable because it's extension, but we need extension to live our lives. And so we need to be able to find ways to work into walking and improve walking without making your back and nerves worse. And so yes, it is closing down on your spine. Yes, we don't necessarily have the ability to remove bone or remove compression around the nerve, but it's about improving the nerve's tolerance, the ability to do something for a longer period of time without having symptoms, because we don't really care what we have going on in the back as long as we're feeling good. And so this exercise will absolutely allow you to feel good. So we're going to take that knowledge and we're going to apply it to the exercise. So before we do the exercise, make sure you grab a chair, make sure it has a back and that you feel safe. And so a lot of times my patients will do this exercise in the kitchen. They'll have the countertop on one side, they'll have the back of the chair on the other side, so they feel very, very safe while they're doing it. So grab your chair and let's have some fun. So if you've worked with me, you know this stretch, but this is the hip flexor to hamstring stretch. And so what you're going to do is you're going to grab the back of the chair or the countertop, you're going to get one leg up, and we're going to work on one side at a time. And so the hip flexor is what we work on first. So you're going to have one foot up on the chair. It's going to be at like a 90-degree angle. You're going to have one foot behind you, and that foot behind you, it's totally fine if the heel comes off the ground. But you want to start off with just like a little bit of a lengthened stance. So don't be super close. You want to get a little bit of length behind it because this mimics walking, right? This back leg here is exactly the same range of motion that you need to walk, but unfortunately, like we just talked about, it can be extension of the spine. So we're going to do this in a way to immediately improve your walking but not make this feel worse. Speaking of that, that's the rule with this exercise, is that you cannot have any back pain or leg pain while you're doing this. You should only feel a stretch. So this very first stretch here is that we're going to place one foot about a 90-degree angle. It's okay if it's a little closer or a little further away. Just do what matches your body. Some of my patients have a knee replacement and they can't go into that range. That's totally fine. You're going to brace yourself and then you're going to shift your weight forward. Now, you see how much range of motion I have here? It's not about going as far as you can. It's about being fairly tall to where I feel stretch in this back leg. Where I want to feel this stretch is the front of the hip on the back leg. So foot up, about a 90-degree angle. You're going to be a little taller with your body. You're going to shift forward till you feel a gentle stretch in the front of the back leg, and then you're going to come out. shift forward, and come out. Now, what's great about this exercise is that it's the amount of time that you hold the stretch. And so you're gonna go forward and back for about a 1 second hold and then come out of it. 1 second hold and then come out of it. 1 second hold and then come out of it. A lot of people think in order to stretch, they need to go and hold that position for a long period of time. But remember, that's extension. We can't be here for a long period of time. Otherwise, you're closing down on your back and you could be having symptoms down the leg. So we're gonna go into the position and out. Now, notice how I said a hip flexor to hamstring. It's not just one stretch. And so here's the second part of the exercise is that you're gonna shift forward, then you're going to straighten that front leg and bend forward, here to here. So you notice here how my knee is shifting forward. I'm a little tall, and then I'm gonna shift my weight back, and then I'm going to lean forward. Pressure's more in the heel now. So you're gonna shift forward, pressure's in the front of my foot, shift back, pressure's more in my heel. This leg does not have to be completely straight. All you wanna feel is a hamstring stretch. So extension of the spine, stretching the hip flexor, which allows us to walk with a longer stride. And then we're going to bend forward. Flexion is your friend. It opens up the spine, and stretch your hamstring at the same time. So what's great about this and why it helps with walking is that you are opening up your spine and we're improving the exact same muscles in the movement that directly replicates walking. I've seen this so many times where I have a patient, we do this stretch. I do about 20 repetitions total, 10 each way. So 10 this way, 10 this way. Then we do 10 of those in a row. And then we immediately start walking, and they notice not only do their hips feel looser, it just feels good to stretch, but they can walk longer and further without as much pain. Now, if you do this consistently every single day over the next couple weeks, I have not seen a patient not improve their walking distance and tolerance. So forward and forward, right? You're gonna lean forward and shift forward. This is the hip flexor, this is the hamstring. Now, when you've done your 20 reps on that side, you will switch your hands, or not, depending on the situation. You're going to switch legs, you're gonna shift forward and shift forward, shift forward and shift forward. I have used this stretch with people who are post-operative, people who have had laminectomies or fusions, people who have had hip replacements or knee replacements. I don't care if you've been stiff your whole life, this will help. And what's great is you don't have to get on the floor. If you look up a lot of stenosis exercises, they'll have you get on the floor, which it just can be hard anyways. So shift forward and shift forward. So the way you know you're doing it right is that you're feeling the front of the hip stretch here, and you're feeling the back of the leg stretch here. And as you go, you are loosening up. So this is the stretch, hamstring, this is hip flexor to hamstring, hip flexor to hamstring. 20 repetitions right before you go on your walk, or you're about to go for a trip or something and you have to stand up for a long period of time, but it can immediately improve your symptoms in your back and your leg. So I have my patients do this. They enjoy doing the stretch because it immediately helps. So the way you know you're doing it right is that you're not having any symptoms and you're feeling the stretch. Now, the way that you know you're doing it wrong is if you are having symptoms in your back, and let's say you can't shift forward very well without having any back pain, is that you can lean forward a little bit. And if you lean forward, that's more flexion, and you're gonna notice that that's even more comfortable if you're having a hard time standing tall. Now, as you work on it week over week, try to get taller and taller because you're gonna get more out of it when you do that. But for right now, if you need to lean forward, that is completely fine. It is also completely fine if that back leg comes off the ground. Over time, the way that I have my patients progress this is that they get that foot further and further back to get more of a stretch. But then also, and trust me, you're gonna feel this. So get into the stretch, you're going to shift forward, and then the leg that's behind you, squeeze your butt cheek. Boom. If you squeeze that butt cheek, 10 out of 10 times you're gonna get a bigger, more deep stretch into your hip flexor without adding any pressure into your back. So shift forward, get into that position, feel that stretch, squeeze your butt cheek. It feels so good because when you squeeze your butt cheek, the front of your hip has to loosen up. It's just how your body is built. So do your hamstring to hip flexor stretch. Over time, lengthen out that stride. Over time, stand a little bit taller. And then if you want to get a little bit more out of it, squeeze that butt cheek. Now, I want you to let me know in the comments if it improved your walking. Did it actually improve your discomfort in your back or leg? And were you able to walk further? What's great about this stretch is I have my patients do it right before they go on their walk, just so they can get that immediate relief, feel pretty good, and then get that walk in, because it is important to walk even if you have arthritis or spinal stenosis. But the trick is here, we're doing this walking, we're doing this improving of your nerves and back without making anything worse. You don't have to get on the ground. You can do it if you just have a chair in your house and you have a few moments before you go on your walk. So do this stretch. I do want you to let me know in the comments underneath the video, did it help? Did you notice that improvement? Did you feel the stretch where you should feel it? If you don't, just ask the questions. I want to be able to answer those so you could feel that stretch where you should feel it. So let me know what you think about the stretch, but as always guys, stay healthy, keep moving, and take care of yourself.